The only true way to not care about what people think about you is to simply upset them, break their expectations. I know this is easier said than done, especially when it comes to your parents specifically, because at a certain age, they rule over you. They have say so. Basically, everything you do in your life from the ages from 0 all the way up to 18. But the number one thing you need to do is break their expectations, break who they think you are, and become your true natural self. I want you to become a positive and productive person. But at the end of the day, if your dreams and goals don't align with your parents or your friends, so be it. And like I said before, that's hard, to work with that, to live with that. Like, let's just say you're the person that doesn't want to go to college, but your parents want you to go to college. That might be hard to deal with. I don't advise you to do anything extreme, like say you're going to college and you're really not. I don't advise that. And if your parents are not the type that want to have this discussion or conversation, that's even worse. The best thing I can say is just start living your own life and try to move out as fast as possible. That's the only way people get it. I've seen it so many times with acquaintances and friends that I've had. The number one thing when it comes to strict parents is just get the hell out of their house. The faster you're able to get the hell out of their house and live on your own, the more it will implement into their brain, like, you know what? They probably got this, or they probably have this need to really stretch their wings. But the number one thing is you need to leave their household. You need to be out of the presence of these people. Let's just say it's not your parents. Let's just say it's your friends. Let's just say it's your teachers, whoever. They think a certain thing about you. So be it. That's easier said than done. I will continue and always say that. But you really need to have this confidence about yourself. You need to go all in this identity. Make sure this persona, whoever it is that you're trying to become, is exactly who you need to become, who you want to become. That's the most important thing. Find purpose within that. And only then can you relish in that personality, in that behavior. Perfect example, I will always use the gym as an example. If you want to get muscle and lose weight or just stay fit and have a good physique, then you need to get your ass in the gym, plain and simple. Now, you can work out at home, but the point is you need to work out. In order to get into that mindset, you need to let that become part of your personality. You need to live that lifestyle. There's no way that you think, oh, temporarily, I'm just going to try to get a good physique, but you're not taking the gym seriously. You're not going all in when it comes to your reps, your sets. You're not trying to push yourself. You're not doing progressive overload. How are you ever going to build the physique or the body that you really want if you're not trying to go all in it? So that's the most important thing. You really need to have purpose within what it is that you're trying to do. If you want to build a nice body, then you're going to have to go all in. You can't half-ass thing. If you want to have a certain career, like become a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, you need to go all in. You cannot half-ass it. That's the most important thing. If you're doing anything that your parents don't approve of, you better make sure that this is something that you actually want to do. Because if it's not, and it's just a phase, and you realize, like, maybe I really don't want to do this, it's just the act of rebelling against my parents, against my friends, against my teachers, or whoever that makes you get this validation from yourself because you're acting out, you're doing something, you're rebelling against authority, you need to check that shit, and you need to make sure it is what it is. Because I'm telling you right now, there's no feeling on God's green earth than doing something that you really want to do and standing up for yourself. It doesn't matter if you're rebelling directly against your parents, against your friends, against, your boss, whoever. When you start taking control of your life, there's no other feeling on this planet. Let me tell you, when you work for yourself and do everything for you, because that's what you want to do, you will become top tier. It doesn't matter where you're at in life. It doesn't matter if you're broke. It doesn't matter if you're rich. As soon as you start taking full control of your life, only then will you ever start living. And there's this thing that will always be in the back of your head. You're always wondering who's watching. But I'm telling you right now, the more that you become confident with yourself and the more that you become more sure of yourself, that voice will dwindle over time. You're just not going to give a fuck about what anybody thinks about you. And this is the golden rule when it comes to making all your dreams come true. When you don't care about failure, when you don't care about embarrassing yourself in front of other people, whether it be content creation, going to college, taking a test. I cannot even begin to imagine the scenarios that this applies to. But when you have that true confidence in who you are and what you're trying to do for yourself, it doesn't matter if you fail, if you embarrass yourself, you're always going to get right back up on your feet and continue. Because you're like, hey, this is part of me. This is part of my lifestyle. This is a part of who I am. This is part of my purpose. I'm going to keep going no matter what, even if I fail. But if you don't make it part of your lifestyle, if you don't make it part of your purpose, as soon as you fail or as soon as you hit an obstacle, that's when failure will break you. That's when embarrassment will break you. That's when somebody can easily slip something in your ear and discourage you from moving forward. So you need to make sure that whatever it is that you're moving forward with, that it is your purpose, is going to be part of your lifestyle, and you are confident within that. That's the only true way to not give a fuck about what people think about you. That's the only true way. And that goes for the way that you dress, the way you conduct yourself, the way that you do business, the way that you work, the way that you do everything in life. I mean, truly, if you're in a relationship with somebody and they don't like the way that you dress, they don't like the way that you do certain things, the way that you live, do you really think that's going to get under your skin if you know for a fact, this is my life's goal, this is my life's journey, to become this certain type of person, to do this certain type of thing? Do you really think you'll care what other people think? No, you won't. Not even from your partner, not even from your family. But the most important thing is that autonomy, that freedom of becoming self. Because once you have that self-awareness of who you are and what you're about, only then can you start building the blocks of becoming, just unaffected by what people think about you. I think that's the biggest thing that is not really discussed, is self-awareness, developing who you are as a person and what you believe in. When we're young, especially when we're in high school, middle school, we're told to believe certain things. We're told that life plays out a certain type of way, but only until you get into the shit yourself. You start working these 9-to-5 jobs, you start going to college, you start having real life experiences. Only then can you make these assessments for yourself. The fucked up thing about the whole situation is the fact that for a lot of people, they live a life that they really don't want to live. They live a life that their parents gave them, for better or for worse. And it is what it is with that situation. That's the most important thing to understand. Some people have a bad situation and they turn it into gold. They may come from the slums, from poor, a ghetto, or just a bad neighborhood. And then all of a sudden, when they're 20, 30 years old, they become a multimillionaire. And for other people, they may come from billionaire status, millionaire status, and then all of a sudden, they're junkies. They're doing terrible. They're not being productive with their life or with the wealth and influence that they have. It all comes down to who you are, what your purpose is, and you don't necessarily have to get this purpose from a parent or from anything. It's just, what are you comfortable with doing? What are you willing to try a little harder at? Some people are good at playing sports and being active. Other people are better at, being basically introverted, doing coding and stuff like that from home. It just depends on your skill set. It depends on who you are. You can always change your identity. You can always change that persona about yourself. You can become an extroverted person after being introverted your whole entire life. It just depends on who you want to be. But the most important thing is make sure that it aligns with your purpose. Make sure it aligns with who you are. And that confidence will build over time with just repetition, doing these things every single day, and no one will ever be able to tell you otherwise. It's so beautiful and so, I'm telling you, it's unlike any other feeling you've ever had when it comes to just self-identity, self-awareness, and who you are and what it is that you want. I stopped giving a fuck about what people thought about me probably around freshman to sophomore year of college. When I was in college my freshman year, I was just iffy. I didn't really know anybody. I was kind of nervous. You're fresh. You're brand new into this new school system. Everything is new to you. You got all these people. You have tons of different classes. And, how do you really make yourself in this situation? It's just going through the flame. Okay, this is who I want to become, and this is what I'm going to do in order to become that person. And right around sophomore year, I really came into myself. I had that self-confidence, that self-awareness. It was just from social settings. I knew that every single class I had, every semester, was going to be new people. I knew I was going to have to talk to new people, whether I liked it or not. And so I just accepted that. I'd be like, you know what? This is part of my personality now. I know I'm going to be meeting new people every 3 to 4 months. I know I'm going to have to be in these groups, group projects, oral presentations. This is college now. It's the big leagues. So I just accepted it. I let that become part of my personality. It's so interesting too, because when I was in high school and middle school, I was a shy person. I was able to speak, but I was always shy. When I got into college, there's no room for that. It's crazy that I even bring this up, because when I was a freshman in college, I had an oral communication class. and we had to give oral presentations all the time. And there were so many people. These people were like in their 20s, and they were crying when they had to give this oral presentation. I was taken back. Like the last time I saw somebody cry having to do an oral presentation was in like middle school. You know, they're so nervous. Their nerves overwork them and they just start to tear up and stuff like that. When I was in college, I saw that and I was like, damn, like some of these people are really not ready for the world, and that's fine. You know, everybody goes at their own pace. And in those situations, you can't care what other people think about you. But I'm just telling you right now, you need to accept a lot of things. Like you just have to accept it, especially the failures that come in your life. Just accept them. You know, let yourself disappoint people. Don't be afraid of that. I know it's so weird and it's hard because you're growing up and you expect or you think certain things should be a certain way. But at a certain point in life, you realize like, damn, I'm going to disappoint people regardless of if I try hard or not. Because if it's not this person I disappoint, then it's going to be that person. And at a certain point, like I said, you just have to accept it. There's nothing else that you can do about the situation than just accept it. Make sure that you're constantly being positive and productive. But besides that, there's some things that are going to fall through the cracks, and it is what it is. You know, you got to take the bad with the good. Not everything can be good. Not everything can be productive. But let me know down below in the comment section what you guys thought about this, because the number one thing that's helped me with not giving a fuck about what people think of me is simply doing, you know, becoming. I think the more successful I've ever gotten in life, the more just nonchalant I've ever been. I stopped giving a fuck about what people think, especially when I'm making money. I don't want to sound materialistic right now, but I'm being honest. The more money I've made, the less I've ever cared about what people think about me, because like at the end of the day, I have financial freedom in my hand. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.